Tell me your name and a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Kelsey Hornbuck, and I am married to Matt Dicker, who has polycystic kidney disease and is a kidney dialysis patient.
When I was 11 or 12 years old, I was getting a lot of headaches and saw a doctor and was diagnosed with hypertension, high blood pressure. My father had kidney disease and was in failure at that point. So hypertension and kidney disease are related. So they figured that was probably the case. I was asymptomatic for years, so I was monitored. And then toward my late 30s, I started feeling very sleepy a lot of the time. I was just getting sick a lot and went to see my nephrologist, my kidney doctor, and they determined that I was past the point where they call it kidney failure. And they thought that I would feel better if I started on dialysis. I'm doing it 4 to 5 days a week, and it takes 3 hours plus setup and breakdown. So really, it's more than a part-time job. It's more than 20 hours a week I'm spending doing it. So when you add that to your full-time job, household responsibilities, family responsibilities, the hours grow real short. So you don't have a lot of time for other things like hobbies or interests, or it's really just kind of trying to juggle life and trying to find a way to get by and do what you need to do to keep your family going and keep yourself feeling good and positive and your family feeling fulfilled.
My name's Laurie Lee. I'm a Chicago area native. I'm a kidney donor. I donated a kidney to a stranger in 2016. My dad is a liver recipient. We've had a nonprofit called Transplant Village. My dad and I started that shortly after he received his liver. And that's affiliated with Northwestern medicine, where we're helping people who need a transplant walk through the process. When we created Transplant Village, we created a program called the Donor Champion Program. And what it does is it teaches people the basics about living donation, and then it provides them with a roadmap on how to ultimately go out into the world, tell their story, because telling your story is so important. And by telling your story, we find that donors actually come to the patient, and they become interested in being the solution to the person needing a transplant. And when recipients think, oh my gosh, I can't make this ask, I always remind them, donors will tell you time and time again that they gained something from giving that gift. And if you stop thinking of it as a sacrifice and think of you're allowing somebody to give maybe the biggest gift of their life, it might change your perspective on making that ask.
Is there a solution to the problem aside from transplant?
There is not a solution to the problem aside from transplant, unfortunately. Right now, obviously, the dialysis is keeping him going, keeping him alive, but living on dialysis is not really living a full life.
Why is it so difficult to ask somebody for something so large?
Well, let me ask you something. What is the hardest thing you've ever had to ask somebody for? So imagine asking somebody for an organ. How do you ask somebody for an organ? That is just too big of an ask. And some people see it as such a big ask that they just don't make the ask. They just don't pursue living donation. They either die or they pursue a deceased donor kidney, which is a great option for some people. But it's such a big ask that people don't make it.
I think the other thing that's just as important is sharing this with others who might be donors. There are a lot of people in our community who already know, I'm not going to be able to donate. And that's okay, because what they have is they have their heart and they have their mouth. So also spreading the word is so important.
There's a lot of guilt that comes with it because you feel like you're falling short a lot because you only have so many hours and you have to make real tough choices about how you spend them. And I think some of my friendships probably have suffered as a result because I haven't been the friend I needed to be, because it's just I don't have the time to do what I need to do to maintain those friendships. So I'm very fortunate that my friends are incredibly loving and understanding, and I think are willing to go the extra mile to make up for it. But it's discouraging to know that you're not. I guess I feel like I'm always falling short in some way because there's only so many hours in the day right now where I feel well enough to do things. So I feel like I'm always going to fall short a little bit. So you're trying to triage and focus on what's most important.
nothing can prepare you for living through someone having a disease that completely changes your life the way that this does. Just because every aspect of your life changes, right? It's not just the big, like, he's doing dialysis 20 hours a week and you don't see him for 20 hours a week. He's too tired. He's fallen asleep and he's too tired to take out the trash. Or, it's every little thing in your life has changed, essentially.
And what would that gift mean to you beyond just like that individual and what they're doing? Like what would that do for you in your life?
It would fundamentally change my life in every way. It would give me a whole new ability to live my life the way I used to live it. My father got a transplant from my mom, and he was older than I was when it happened. And I watched a guy who was pretty sick turn into a pretty healthy guy afterwards, who could move around and do stuff and exercise and go on vacation and travel and have fun. So I've seen firsthand the benefit of what a transplant looks like, and it's something to dream of one day.
And to somebody who might be watching this video, what would you say to them? How would you ask that question?
It's not easy for me to say. Even right now, it's hard for me to say to somebody, would you give me a kidney? It's an incredibly hard ask. I guess I'm more comfortable saying, think about donation as a whole, not just to me, but as a culture, whether it's signing up on your driver's license or whether it's giving it to me eventually, or somebody else in your life. It is the most generous act you can do, and it can truly make someone's life immeasurably better. So if it's something that you're able to do, your life circumstances make it possible, it's an incredible gesture and an incredible thing you can do. But it's also, I recognize it's a lot to ask.